So I'm all inspired again, obviously. Now, I was just talking about the imagination and the collapsing of the wave function, and I'm asking questions. Now, here again is another collection of sand castles down here in the sand. And so, when we look at these, we can say, well, okay, so what have we got here? We've got these 5 sand castles. Why is it that these sand castles are here instead of, say, like houses or a boat or a car or any other design in the sand? Because it was more probable that these sandcastles were going to make manifest, because when these children come down to the beach, they have their buckets and spades, and so the children look at the tools that they've got and they use their imagination in relation to that, and so therefore there's a certain prominence and a higher probability that the child's imagination is going to go, let's make some sandcastles then, you see. They never needed to do that. They could have used the bucket to transport water to make the sand more malleable, so it can be crafted, like you see huge crafted sand art forms on lots of beaches. Now, what I'm saying here is that down here there has been a collapse in the wave function of probability. Now, I'm going to say something even further now, which is going to start to tweak people, but that area there is entirely probable to make manifest anything in the universe. It could well be that in 1,000 years' time, somebody else is standing here, some AI robot or something, and they are creating something else in a factory, and within this space of probability, they create something else. But you see, children or parents, they could have created many things here. They could have collapsed the probability of the wave function and created a whole number of things. And so you could say then, well, this was in the consciousness of the human being, or you could say, well, no, it was in the probability of the dark matter or dark energy. This thing we're in that is all around us, there's stuff here. And we know there's stuff here because there's Wi-Fi here, there's TV here, there's language, there's numbers, there's all this sort of stuff going through. There's all these particles that we breathe in that we don't know, you know, what we breathe in, and all this sort of stuff. And so all around us, there's so much going on at any given time. And so on this particular day, at this particular hour, whenever this sandcastle was created, a certain wave function of probability was collapsed into sandcastles. And so tomorrow, that particular area will collapse into another probability, another probable form, when some other children dig a hole in there, or some adult smooths the sand off and lays their towel down upon it to get a nice bed to lie down on for the day. And so you see then that what we actually do is we are always breaking down the wave function of probability. And so when you realise that you can do that, you are gods. Do you not know that ye are gods? Jesus said, do you not know that ye are gods? You see? And so when you start to get your head around how your godliness works, via your imagination, via you having the ability to collapse the wave function of probability of this universe. It is you individually that have this capability. And so, via your imagination, you can replicate, you can copy, that which God has said to have done. You see, you can create your world about you via words. You can say words to other people and they will start to act in a certain way. Now, if you are a boss of a company, you have a board meeting and you go, la, 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 la. This is the agenda of this week, today, this month, and for this first quarter. And then, all of the people, your subordinates, they are going to be manifesting your desire. They're going to bring it into a reality, your words, you see? And so we're all creating via words. And I was speaking to Paul about this same subject yesterday, and I was saying, look, if you look up there and you see these huge buildings, and people with limited knowledge about this stuff they will say, that's real. And I'll say, okay, well, picture this. You see, that now consists of concrete and steel and any number of product, natural to the world and synthetic. And so man, through his imagination, has created that. But you see, initially there was a man who designed that building. The exact dimensions of every single part of that was meticulously designed by an architect, a technical drawer. And so they created this shape, and it was borne in mind by a certain prerequisite, because the engineers would have said to them, or the property developers would have said to them, many people would have said to them, listen, what we need to do, we need to house 100 families, and we need to have 2 bedrooms and 2 ensuite bathrooms, and we want lots of sea views because this is what sells the apartments to the punter, gets a good price, and we want this facility and we want that facility, and we want it to last 100 years and all this sort of thing. So then the scientists go, okay then, right then, and they set to work with a pencil and paper, and they think about this stuff, and then they transfer it into the physical world via the carbon from their pencil onto the paper. And then people read this and they go, okay, so you want it to be this long, this high, and you want it to be made of this. And so they will start then to create it. You see, all born out of imagination, all born about the collapsing of the probable wave function which was there before. There was a probable wave function there before which could be anything. In 10 years' time, it may be a 100-story skyscraper. You see? And so when we say, well, what is real? It's not just what you consider to be corporeal that is real. The most real thing in this universe is thought. Because in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was good, and the Word was God.